Samuel 29, the Philistines mistrust David. Now the Philistines gathered all their forces at Aphek, while Israel camped by the spring in Jezreel. As the Philistine lords, governors were proceeding on marching by hundreds, by thousands, and David and his men were proceeding on in the rear with Achish, the king of Gath. The Philistine commanders, having noticed David, said, "What are these Hebrews doing here?" Achish said to the Philistine commanders, "Is this not David, the servant of Saul's king of Israel, who has been with me these days and years, and I found no fault in him from this day? He deserted me till this day?" But the Philistine commanders were angry with Achish, and they said to him, "Make this man return so that he may go back to his place where you have assigned him, and do not let him go down to battle with us, or in the battle he may turn and become our adversary. For how could David reconcile himself to his lord Saul? Would it not be the heads of these Philistine men? Is this not David of whom they used to sing in dances? Saul killed his thousands, and David his 10,000s. David's it's an interesting life for David, right? He was going through and he was propped up to be this great thing. He was going to be this great person. You know, Samuel anointed him as king, and here he's going around fighting for his life and going and fighting with the enemy, and it's a journey. It's a journey going through things. Then Achish called David and said to him, "As the Lord lives, you have been upright, and your behavior in the army is pleasing in my sight. For from this day you came to me to this day, I have found no evil in you. Nevertheless, the Philistine lords do not approve of you. So return now and go in peace to your place, that you do not displease the Philistine lords." David said to Achish, "But what have I done? What have you found in your servant from this day when I first came before you to this day, that I may not go and fight against the enemies of my lord the kings?" Achish answered David, "I know that you are blameless in my sight, like an angel of God. Nevertheless, the commanders of the Philistines have said, he must not go up with us to the battle. So now get up early in the morning with your master's servants who have come with you, and as soon as you are up in the morning, have light leave." So David and his men got up early in the morning to return to the land of the Philistines. But the Philistines went up to Jezreel to fight against Israel. I said this was the God-orchestrated escape from a compromising situation that David was confident God would provide. Go in peace. The farewell was more than a courtesy. Achish was releasing David from any further obligation that he had incurred when Achish had made David his vassal in Ziklag. It says prudence. When Achish saw David as an angel of God, there must have been something in the way that David conducted himself that showed even a pagan Philistine that David belonged to the God of Israel and that this was a good place to be. David was being very careful in how he dealt with the Philistines. He could not endanger the people who depended on him, nor be unfaithful to his Lord. Only God can help us when we have to live in such a difficult situation. Isn't that so true? I think this goes back to like how you can look at your situation in your own home. It's like you hear all these things, and I'm not condemning anything or any people, but our world is a very toxic world. Everything is toxic. Everything's toxic and traumatic. All those things. I get it. There are things in the world. But I think our society is so much to push that you don't need that. You need to get out. You need to leave. You need to run. You need to get away. You need to cut off all these things in your life. When even David's going through something, right? That only God can help when we have to live in a difficult situation. He had to be faithful to God. Sometimes it's real quick to listen to everybody else and just shut off people. And I understand you have to for safety. I get these things. But I understand also that God can do a miracle and things in your own life if you just trust in God to work in a situation. And I've seen that in my own life. I've seen that in situations where in my head I thought it was best to chop off, never speak again, and to just go away. And I'm like, okay. And I probably would have lived my life and nothing would have, whatever. I wouldn't even thought about it. Maybe I had a little in the back of my head, but by choosing not to cut off, not to walk away, I see the little blessings, even though they're not anywhere near what I guess in my head it should be. I still see how God will bless a bad situation. Do you know what I mean? So, all right, this is your Daily Bible Chapter. We read God's Word Monday through Friday. See you tomorrow.